Fl0m was playing a premiere game on Ancient when the game abruptly ended. This shows it nicely.
Whoever was cheating is dog shit.
Wait, what is this?
I got it. I'm cheating.
He got a 20-hour cooldown due to his irregular gameplay, not that of his teammates. His. The assumption I'm making here is that he was detected by VAC Live, which is a mysterious anti-cheat system which probably scans for known cheats, as well as possibly building on what VACnet used to do by running the matches as they're playing through a large server system which uses AI to scan for unusual behaviour. VACnet used to only scan matches that had already finished, so you wouldn't get banned halfway through a match or anything like that. But obviously that wasn't ideal, to be stuck in a whole game with an obvious cheater, especially if VAC had the tools to be able to ban them immediately. And also, cheaters found a way to corrupt match demos to prevent VAC from being able to scan them. Hence, a live version of it was made, constantly watching over the players and the servers to ensure no funny business. But with Fl0m, it suspected funny business. It's at this point that, were this CSGO, the match would be sent over to Overwatch for human review to deem how suspicious Fl0m is. But as it stands, who knows what CS2 uses? Maybe Overwatch is still there but fully AI driven now. Maybe it doesn't exist at all. Maybe Valve is taking all this super seriously and realises the only way to beat cheaters is to be completely silent about their anti-cheat systems. Or maybe somebody at Valve just flips a coin to determine somebody's guilt. Maybe Valve doesn't care at all and the report is lost forever. We're all left guessing, because there's nothing that any of us can do to figure out what the hell just happened. There's no demo of the match for us to be able to review, so all we can do is to take a look at Fl0m's stream to see what could have triggered this. Here's a montage of kills he made before the final round. Not many, because it was early in the game, he didn't get many kills, and there wasn't much suspicious about the ones he did get.
What the fuck?
Anyway, he also attempted a bunny hop during warm-up, and a few times he looked at walls, so while AI could be fooled into thinking this stuff is a regular gameplay, it's pretty normal for Counter-Strike, so let's assume not. I do like the foreboding chat during the warm-up.
I mean, surely nobody would cheat in here or anything like that, as these servers are VAC secured.
So presumably whatever cheating Fl0m committed took place in the round immediately before the match's cancellation. He only gets one kill, which doesn't look suspicious at all at any part of it. So all eyes are on this shocking display from just before, where Fl0m flaunts his stunning reflexes whenever somebody peeks this corner. I know that AI doesn't quite work in this way, but I can imagine this moment triggering a more standard cheat detection algorithm, like if enemy has been visible for fewer than X milliseconds and the player fires, flag it as potentially suspicious as it's clearly too fast for a standard human to be able to register, especially as he does it several times in quick succession. Of course, that's ignoring the fact that the enemy is stepping in and out of cover, rather predictably, popping into view, out again, in again, out again, and so on. So Fl0m would have been primed and his trigger finger itchy. And no matter what happened, let's not forget that Fl0m didn't even get the kill, didn't even get MVP. But shots did register, as evidenced by the 2 assists he got soon after. 2? Where did these 2 assists come from? Was it actually 2 different people taking in turns to get shot in the face by Fl0m?
How many people were in there? Was it a fucking clown car in red?
This would be a great time to view a match demo back, wouldn't it?
I can't even watch it back to form clout.
But since we can't, I had to do some old-fashioned detective work. I got images of what all the different CT players looked like, and indeed, the 2 people he got assists on were using the same skin. So it could have been that this person here was actually 2 different people, taking in turns to get shot in the face by Fl0m. It used to be a strategy back in the day when you'd all choose the same skin, so it's harder for an enemy to count how many of you there are if you take in turns to peek the same corner. Is it 1 person? Is it 5 people taking in turns? You can't tell. Of course, that situation never actually arose in practice. Until now, it seems. See, it did eventually pay off, 25 years after the strap began. Going back to my if enemy has been visible for fewer than X milliseconds and player fires, flag as potentially suspicious as clearly being too fast for a standard player to be able to register, this would definitely be more valid if this person here was more than just 1 player, as maybe sometime throughout this, Fl0m did immediately fire and hit a person who was peeking for the first time. But it still doesn't make it okay, does it? The other possibility is that there is only 1 person here, and maybe he got another assist earlier on in the round from this grenade attack on mid. Or maybe there are 2 people hiding in this closer corner, with the first being weakened by him, waiting in the corner while the other gets killed by him, while the person he injured in the first place then retreats behind the shroud of the smoke. See, all that analysis later and was still none the wiser. I'm not even sure I trust these stray pixels here. Valve, please fix. But let's take a step back a moment. I wouldn't expect to see anything suspicious from analysing his gameplay, because Fl0m probably isn't cheating, but even if he was, somebody such as him who's streaming their game live would be an idiot to use blatant cheats. Meet Miss Q Gemini, a streamer who in 2017 streamed herself live, blatantly cheating in CSGO. Although this was all a misunderstanding, and accusations that she's cheating were only done because she's female. She explained that what actually happened was that her female friend, Clara, had used her PC and had installed the cheats. Miss Q Gemini was totally innocent, and was just as confused as the rest of us when she activated and then used the cheats for several rounds, before being notified by Twitch chat that they were visible.
Wait, what the fuck? Clara!
She was VAC banned and the Clara meme was born, and is spammed
Clara,
in Twitch chat whenever cheats are suspected.
Clara.
Fl0m probably isn't such an idiot, so even if he was cheating, he would probably opt to use a far more subtle one than Miss Q Gemini's friend did. A more subtle cheat wouldn't result in screen shake when firing, and it wouldn't show up on stream in front of all his viewers. No, Fl0m's cheats would likely be undetectable from observation, only subtly manipulating his aim and behaviour to give him just the slight edge in matches. Yeah, I don't think he's cheating. So there's no real point in me trying to analyse his shots for suspicious activity, because even if I find nothing, it still doesn't prove he wasn't cheating. Flying spaghetti monster. So far, I've assumed the ban he got was from VAC Live's analysis of his gameplay, but one of Fl0m's viewers suggested another possibility.
I did just see someone spam report a person and got them banned on Reddit. Oh, okay.
So could mass reporting cause a temporary ban? I don't know why it surprised me to discover, but there are actually websites that you can submit profiles to and it will apparently mass report them using bots, which sounds like a terrible system if you ask me, by making yourself the law. Or is it this site, what with it claiming to make you immune to reports against yourself so long as you use their website in your name? What is this? Justice against cheaters or some kind of mob-run spite site? Much better in my opinion, far less shady, is just to do it yourself. But with just a bit of perseverance and a semi-justice boner, you can brute force a mass report in-game and it feels very cathartic to do, especially when it seemingly works. There is this incredible video on Reddit where a frustrated player reports a suspiciously amazing enemy player repeatedly, over and over again. All of the reports have different report IDs, but whether or not Valve considers them all to be separate reports if they all came from the same account is anyone's guess. But on the 195th report, the game is cancelled due to VAC detecting irregular gameplay. Is that the magic number? Can you report any player 195 times and the match will end? Probably not. Firstly, because it's stupid, but secondly, because the match ending does coincide with the final teammate dying in the round, which is when VAC Live likes to show itself. Also, the person he was reporting had a very suspicious score. So maybe he was banned for real, and the mass reporting could merely have been coincidental. I guess we'll never know. Valve's anti-cheat systems are notoriously shrouded in secrecy so as to be harder for cheaters to game. But it sure does make stuff like this frustrating when it lets obvious cheaters slip through without getting a ban, only for it to immediately ban someone like Fl0m for seemingly no reason. It just makes us players feel powerless. It makes us distrust the systems that are in place to protect us. It would be nice if Valve could at least tell us what happened in this situation, so there's at least a hope that we can trust the systems to not do the same thing again in the future. VAC's reputation should be important to Valve. It isn't the most robust cheat detection system, it isn't overly invasive, it doesn't have a great track record for instilling fear into the hearts of cheaters, but it did have one good quality, and that was a near 100% accuracy with which the bans were being dished out. This doesn't mean it bans 100% of cheaters, it just means that if you do get VAC banned, there's a near 100% chance that you were cheating. If VAC started to ban innocent people on suspicions and false positives, it undermines the entire value of the VAC system. And granted, this wasn't a proper VAC ban, but it's still tied to the name, it's tied to the system, so it muddies the waters, discredits the VAC system, and risks alienating the player base further. I guess there is one other possibility. Maybe Fl0m was cheating after all.
You know what? After all these years, guys, I'm about to go to the major. I said, fuck it, I'm about to cheat in this premiere game.
Clara.